Hello and welcome back to another vlog. Today is a little different because I'm heading to Chennai, the capital city of the Indian state of Tamil Nadu. I live in Tiruchirappalli, often called Trichy, and today's journey is for work. Chennai is about 320 kilometers from here, so it's going to be a long drive. Come along with me as I take you on another real day in my life here in South India. Before starting, I always make sure the car is ready. I've got everything I need for the journey, tissues, sunglasses, and a few essentials to make the drive more comfortable. It's around 10:30 in the morning, and the weather is already hot, so the air conditioning is definitely going to be working hard today. Right now, I'm still driving through my hometown. We haven't reached the highway yet, so this is a good chance to show you what everyday roads in South India look like. The roads here are generally good, but traffic can be a little unpredictable. People don't always follow the rules perfectly, and if you're watching from another country, you might notice that driving here feels quite different. But that's part of everyday life in India. First, I have a few things to finish at my office. Once that's done, I'll begin the long drive to Chennai. Let's get started. With my work at the office finished, it was finally time to begin the journey. As I left the city, the road ran alongside the Kaveri River, one of the most important rivers in South India. It has supported millions of people for generations and plays a huge role in the lives of those living across Tamil Nadu. A few minutes later, I joined National Highway 45, one of the major highways connecting different parts of the state. The road stretches all the way towards Kanyakumari, the southernmost tip of mainland India. Driving on Indian highways is always interesting. You'll see everything from family cars and buses to large fuel tankers carrying petrol to stations across the region. Today, the traffic was surprisingly light, which made the drive much more relaxed than I had expected. The sun was already shining brightly, but with the air conditioning on and an open road ahead, it felt like the perfect start to a long drive to Chennai. Once I left the city behind, the drive became much more relaxed. After about 30 or 40 kilometers, I settled into a comfortable cruising speed. I never drive faster than 100 kilometers per hour on the highway. It's a speed that feels safe, comfortable, and perfect for a long journey like this. Just look at the sun. It was incredibly hot outside. But inside the car, with the air conditioning running, the drive was surprisingly comfortable. On both sides of the highway, there were long stretches of forests, making the road feel peaceful despite the afternoon heat. I switched on the cruise control and simply enjoyed the drive. What surprised me the most was how quiet the highway was. Normally, this road is packed with traffic, but today there were only a handful of vehicles around me. Sometimes, the best part of a road trip isn't the destination. It's finding yourself on an open road with almost no traffic, good music, and hundreds of kilometers still waiting ahead. And that's exactly how this journey to Chennai was beginning. After driving for quite some time, the journey took a small but interesting turn. Up ahead, I noticed all the vehicles leaving the highway. For a moment, I wondered what had happened. Then I saw the diversion signs. The highway was under repair, so everyone had to take a temporary service road. This is something you often see while traveling across India. Highways are constantly being improved, and during construction, traffic is carefully diverted until the work is complete. As we slowed down, I could see dozens of construction workers working under the blazing afternoon sun. Looking at them made me appreciate how much effort goes into building and maintaining these roads. While most of us simply drive through, there are people working hard every single day to make our journeys safer. The road immediately felt different. The smooth highway disappeared, and now I was driving on a much narrower service road. It wasn't as comfortable, but that's just part of road trips here. On one side, I could see small villages, and on the other, heavy construction equipment. It looked like they were building a new bridge, probably to make it safer for local people to cross the highway without worrying about fast-moving traffic. Sometimes it's better to slow down and enjoy the journey instead of trying to reach the destination as quickly as possible. A few extra minutes don't really matter. Arriving safely is always more important. After a few kilometers, I could already see the highway ahead again. In another minute or two, we'd be back on the open road, ready to continue our drive towards Chennai. Back on the highway, It was time to settle into the drive again. After showing you the road for quite a while, I thought, why not turn the camera around for a change? So here I am. To be honest, seeing myself on camera while driving feels a little funny. I'm wearing my sunglasses, trying to stay comfortable in the bright sun, and just enjoying the journey. Normally I travel alone for business, and I never really think about what I look like. But watching myself later during editing definitely made me smile. This is exactly how most of my business trips are. Just me, my car, and a long stretch of highway ahead. I actually enjoy these solo drives. They give me time to think, plan new ideas, and simply enjoy being on the road. Then I turned the camera back towards the highway because I wanted to show you something. Just look at this road. The highways here in Tamil Nadu are some of the best you'll find in India. They're wide, well-maintained, and make long-distance driving much more comfortable. That's one of the reasons I enjoy road trips so much. As I continued driving, I noticed something interesting. The highway, which had been 4 lanes for most of the journey, suddenly became 6 lanes. This usually happens near busy towns and cities where traffic starts increasing. Once the busy section is over, it goes back to 4 lanes again. The drive couldn't have been smoother. Sometimes these quiet moments on the highway become my favorite part of the trip. The plan for today is simple. Keep driving all the way to Chennai, check into my hotel, and take you along until the end of the day. It's going to be a journey of about 320 kilometers, so we still have a long way to go. One more thing caught my attention. Although the sun was still shining, I could see dark clouds slowly gathering in the distance. In South India, the weather can change very quickly. One moment it's bright and sunny, and the next, you could be driving through heavy rain. So now I'm curious to see what the rest of this journey has in store. Let's keep driving. As I continued driving, I noticed something I had been expecting all along. The dark clouds were slowly getting closer. Just a few minutes ago, the sky was bright and sunny, but now it looked like rain could arrive at any moment. That's how unpredictable the weather can be during long drives in South India. By the way, you might hear a faint voice in the background while I'm driving. That's not another passenger. Whenever I'm traveling alone, I almost always listen to podcasts or educational videos. Sometimes it's about science, sometimes history, sometimes business or technology. I enjoy learning something new while covering long distances, and it makes the journey feel much shorter. A little later, I reached one of India's highway toll plazas. If you've never driven in India before, this is how we pay highway tolls. Almost every car has a small FASTag sticker attached to the windshield. It's linked to a prepaid digital wallet. Before a trip, we simply recharge the account, and every time we pass through a toll plaza, the system automatically deducts the toll fee. There's no need to stop, hand over cash, or even roll down the window. As the car approaches, the scanner reads the FASTag, the payment is completed in a few seconds, and the barrier opens automatically. It's a simple system, but it has made highway travel much faster across India. You'll also notice large information boards showing the toll charges for different types of vehicles and the lanes for cars, buses, and trucks. In reality though, people here often choose whichever lane is moving the fastest. That's just part of driving in India. Within a few seconds, the barrier lifted, and I was back on the highway without stopping. Meanwhile, the sun had almost disappeared behind the clouds. The temperature was beginning to drop, and I had a feeling that rain wasn't too far away. We'd also been driving for quite some time now, so it wouldn't be long before I stopped for something to eat. Let's see what the rest of the journey has in store. By the time I looked at the clock, it was already 2 p.m., which meant it was definitely time for lunch. I'd been driving for almost 4 hours, and after covering around 240 kilometers, I was ready to take a break. Just then, something caught my eye. A sign for McDonald's. No matter where you travel in the world, seeing those golden arches always feels familiar. But I thought this would be a good chance to show you what a McDonald's on an Indian highway looks like. If you're watching from the US, Europe, or somewhere else in the world, you probably have a McDonald's near you. But I'm curious to see how similar, or how different, it is here in India. As I followed the signs, I pulled into the parking area and found a place to park the car. Alright, let's get out and see what an Indian highway McDonald's has to offer. After parking the car, I grabbed my phone, locked the doors, and stepped outside. The first thing I noticed was the sound of the highway. Even though the restaurant was just a short distance away, you could still hear trucks and cars rushing past at full speed. The weather had changed completely. The hot sunshine from earlier had disappeared, and the cool breeze made it the perfect time to take a break from driving. This McDonald's is located right beside the highway, making it a convenient stop for people traveling long distances, just like me. As soon as I walked in, I found a self-order kiosk. Instead of waiting in line, you can simply browse the menu, place your order on the screen, and pay right there. One thing I found interesting was that many of the menu items now displayed their protein content. It's a small detail, but something I hadn't noticed during my earlier visits. After placing my order, I received table number 37. Instead of waiting at the counter, the staff would bring the food directly to my table once it was ready. The restaurant had a relaxed atmosphere. I thought this would be a nice opportunity to show you what an Indian McDonald's looks like. For lunch, I ordered a burger, French fries, and a hot chocolate. A simple meal before getting back on the road. Now, all that was left to do was wait and see which arrived first. A few minutes later, my lunch finally arrived. I kept it simple: a premium chicken burger, a serving of French fries, and a hot chocolate. The total came to 523 Indian rupees, which is roughly $6. I always find it interesting how the price of the same restaurant can be so different from one country to another. Everything tasted fresh, and after a few hours on the road, it was exactly what I needed before continuing the journey. The hot chocolate was actually my favorite part of the meal. It was rich, warm, and surprisingly good. If you're watching from another country, I'm curious, how much would this same meal cost where you live? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to compare McDonald's prices from different parts of the world. Once lunch was over, it was time to get back on the road. As soon as I stepped outside, I noticed the sky had become even darker. One thing I like about this McDonald's is that it also has a drive-thru. So if you're in a hurry, you can simply order without leaving your car. But today I wanted a short break from driving, so sitting inside the restaurant was definitely the better choice. With lunch over, it was time to get back on the road. I reversed the car out of the parking space, and just as I expected, the weather finally started to change. A light drizzle began to fall. You might not be able to see it clearly on the camera, but tiny raindrops were landing on the windshield. After driving for hours in the hot sun, the rain actually felt refreshing. As always, joining the highway again required a little extra attention. Vehicles here travel at high speeds, so it's always better to wait for the right moment before merging safely. There was still about 100 kilometers left before reaching Chennai, so the journey wasn't over yet. A little further along the highway, I passed Maduranthakam Lake, one of the largest lakes in this region of Tamil Nadu. From a distance, it almost looked like the sea stretching across the landscape. But the weather had one more surprise. Just as quickly as the rain arrived, the sunshine returned. That's something I love about traveling in South India. You can experience sunshine, clouds, and rain all within the same afternoon. By around 3:30 p.m., I was finally approaching the outskirts of Chennai. I had left my office at around 11 o'clock, and after several hours of driving, the city was finally within reach. The airport was now less than 10 kilometers away, and that's when I knew one thing for sure. The peaceful highway drive was about to end. Almost immediately, the traffic started getting heavier. For the last few hours, I had enjoyed wide open roads with hardly any vehicles around me. But Chennai is the capital of Tamil Nadu, and people travel here every day for work, business, education, and countless other reasons. The closer I got to the city, the busier everything became. Even though I was still technically on the highway, it already felt like I had entered the city's rhythm. In just a few more minutes, I'd leave the highway behind and begin driving through the streets of Chennai. Let's see what the city has in store for us. As I continued driving through Chennai, I had one small task to finish before calling it a day. My car still had its original single horn, and for a while I'd been thinking about upgrading it to a dual-tone horn. Since Chennai has many well-known automobile accessory shops, I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to get it done. Before leaving home, I had already spoken to a shop over the phone, so now I was heading there. On the way, I passed Chennai International Airport, the busiest airport in Tamil Nadu. If you're visiting this part of South India from another country, there's a good chance this is where your journey will begin. Right beside the airport, you can also see the Chennai Metro. It's one of the easiest ways to travel around the city, connecting many important areas without having to worry about Chennai's busy traffic. I always enjoy driving through this part of the city. On one side, you have the airport. On the other, the metro line running alongside the road. And all around you, the energy of Chennai. One thing that surprises many visitors is that even in a busy city like Chennai, you can still see rocky hills rising in the distance. It gives the city a unique character that you don't always expect from a major metropolitan area. For me though, the destination wasn't the airport or the metro. It was a small car accessory shop where I hoped to make one simple upgrade before continuing the rest of my trip. Let's head there and see how it turns out. As I got closer to the shop, the traffic became much heavier. I had to make a U-turn first, then slowly work my way across a few busy lanes. In Chennai, that's sometimes the hardest part of driving. Not the distance, but finding the right gap in the traffic. After a few minutes, I finally spotted the showroom on the left. This place is called Car Sense, a well-known car accessory store with several branches across Chennai. Before starting the trip, I had already called them to check if they could install a dual-tone horn for my car. Now it was time to find out. If everything went as planned, I'd get it installed today itself. That would save me another trip in the future, and one more task would be checked off my list. It's a small upgrade, but when you spend a lot of time driving on Indian highways, little improvements like this make a difference. So before checking into my hotel, I thought I'd finish this job first. Let's go inside and see if they can upgrade the horn. By the time I remembered to pick up the camera, the installation was almost finished. I completely forgot to record the actual fitting process. Since I'm still getting used to filming my trips, moments like this can happen. But this is the new horn I chose. It's a Flyover dual-tone horn, an Italian brand, and I wanted something that sounded a little stronger than the factory horn without being too loud. The mechanic was just finishing the final adjustments, making sure everything was properly tightened before handing the car back to me. Once everything was checked, the job was done. One more task completed. Now there was only one thing left to do. Drive through the evening traffic and head to my hotel for some well-deserved rest after a long day on the road. As I continued driving through Chennai, I passed one of the city's most recognizable landmarks, Kathipara Flyover. If you're flying into Chennai, there's a good chance you'll see this massive interchange from the airplane just before landing. It's one of the busiest junctions in the city, connecting several major roads and helping thousands of vehicles move through Chennai every day. Right above us, you can also see the Chennai Metro passing by, adding another layer to the city's transport network. From the road, it looks impressive enough, but from above, the entire flyover has a unique shape that many people say looks like a butterfly. I'll try to show you an aerial image on the screen so you can see what I mean. It reminds me of some of the large highway interchanges you see in major cities around the world. Seeing infrastructure like this in Chennai is always fascinating. After taking the correct exit, I continued towards my destination. One stop left, and then the day would finally come to an end. After crossing the Kathipara flyover, I thought the hardest part of the journey was over. I was wrong. I had completely forgotten one important thing. It was evening rush hour in Chennai. And if you've ever been to Chennai during peak office hours, you'll know exactly what that means. Traffic. A lot of traffic. For the last few hours, I had been enjoying open highways and smooth roads. But now, everything had come to a crawl. Cars, buses, autos, motorcycles. Every lane was packed. By this point, I had been traveling since morning, and honestly, I was starting to feel tired. When I turned the camera towards myself, I could actually see it on my face. I wasn't thinking about sightseeing anymore. I was just thinking, when will this traffic finally clear? My car is a Kia Carens, and while it's fantastic for family trips and long-distance travel, driving a larger vehicle through heavy city traffic can sometimes be a challenge. In moments like this, I find myself dreaming about a small city car that would be much easier to maneuver through crowded streets. But for now, there was only one option: patience. Slowly but surely, the traffic started moving. Finally, at around 8 p.m., I reached my hotel. After nearly an entire day on the road, it felt good to know that the driving was finally over. I found a parking spot, checked into the hotel, had some dinner, and called it a day. Tomorrow would be another day in Chennai. Instead of driving everywhere, I decided to use one of the most iconic forms of transport in India, the auto rickshaw. If you've never seen one before, it's the small three-wheeled taxi you'll find all over Indian cities. In Chennai, autos are everywhere. So in the next vlog, I'll take you along for an auto rickshaw ride through Chennai and show you another side of life in South India. Until then, thank you for joining me on this journey from Trichy to Chennai. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Thank you for watching Life in South India.